Salut. Je ne sais toujours pas pourquoi on a pris...
Hello rap fans, welcome to the television fair. I'm Johnny and I'm a dirty varmin that sleeps in a bed full of unravelled Scotch E180 videotape because it's the best tape for nesting, and when it becomes unusable I can swap it for a new one because of its lifetime guarantee.
Every recording as good as the first, or we'll give you a new tape. You can watch Scotch forever.
I'm here to see what other people have dredged up from the past and poke it with a stick. In today's video we have gaming, shopping and music channels that have all bitten the dust. Well, sort of, but we'll reveal that in a bit. The first channel, the Game Network. The Game Network was originally a pan-European channel launching in 1999, but we would get our own version in 2001. The whole idea around it was shows about computer games, consoles, and selling related stuff. Special deals on games and mobile content like ringtones and mobile games. Nokia's, for instance, pioneered phone customization. First you had those clips that you could put on the front of your phone to make it look cool on the outside, and then ringtones so you could have your favourite tune when your phone rang or wanted to annoy somebody on the back of the bus. Then came the thing where you could have a pixelated picture instead of saying Vodafone on the front. And then came the games. Nokia's, for instance, had Snake or Snake 2, and you could also have a couple of other downloadable games too. This was all before polyphonic ringtones and WAP internet and colour screens and even camera phones. The channel would also have shows based around computer game chat and also advice sections and playthroughs. Games would be showcased on the channel, but also instead of music that came with the game, the video would be accompanied by popular music. There was a show called Game Guru, and that would also showcase and critique games, and it would also take questions from other gamers looking for cheats or advice and upload them to their chat rooms or online somewhere.
Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Is it Skater Waste? No, American Wasteland. And they're all spelt right. Yeah. Isn't that sweet?
What?
Right.
I wish they brought out Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. That would be good. You have to go around, you have to go around painting buildings. In black and white.
Riding on a small plasticine man.
Yes.
And admittedly, if you were born at some point after 1985, you probably haven't got a clue what we're talking about.
Level 1, do an ollie or morph.
He's not being rude, trust me. It means... Look, it's too long to explain. Go onto the internet, put in Tony Hart, all right? They're free. What do you want? You hold them.
£40 for a door wedge. Tony,
Games.
Look. No loading screens. Yeah, Jimmy Chin. Yeah, there you go. That's well, thank you. Tony Hawk's, you are a liar in your advert. There was one loading screen there.
It's Tony Hawk's.
If you are a gullible tool and you like the same game over and over again, you'll enjoy forking out 50 quid for this. But if you actually, if you actually have got, if you have got a self-conscious soul, you will not go out and buy it.
Okay, space on the paint dry network for Guru Larry there. Surprisingly, it worked quite well. It's very much something that wouldn't be out of place on Twitch these days. In 2005, it was notable that the game content had reduced, mostly on daytime. The channel would start psychic and astrology programming in the evening, and then Babe Station came on air. Here comes the modesty duck. The Game Network was joint owned by Digital Bros and Cellcast, but Digital Bros ended up selling their bit to Cellcast, who renamed the channel to Babe Station, and that's how it's been ever since. The next channel, Ideal World. Ideal World was a shopping channel, and boy is there a story behind this one. Hello, this is Future Johnny. Woo-hoo! When I originally did that bit, Ideal World was still looking for a saviour. As I record this bit, they've just announced that it's come back from the dead. I'm not going to waste my content though, so here is what I was going to say about it. Ideal World was a shopping channel, and boy is there a story behind this one. The warehouse for the things that they were selling was based in the same building as the studio. It's called Ideal Home House, and it's based in Peterborough, and heck, are Peterborough proud of it. Let's just say Ideal World comes third behind a donkey and a bus shelter with its own postcode. It was launched by a team of ex-QVC presenters leading the presenting team. These were Steve Watley, Debbie Flint, and Paul Lavers. Yay! Yay, we love Paul Lavers. He'd be on the Paint Dry Network. Now, it was owned by a businessman called Paul Wright and his business partner Val Kay. They both claim to have a hand in the Andrex puppy. Wait, that kind of sounds a bit... Cut that bit out. The channel launched on the 17th of April 2000 and it hit the ground running, although the days running up to the launch were pretty tense as the studios were not complete and they still had a lot to put the finishing touches to. When they launched, they even had a message from rivals and ex-employers QVC wishing them well, which is actually quite nice. Things were going really well until the fire. Yeah, there was a fire. Not that fire. No, an actual fire that burnt their building and everything down. Less than a year after the launch, they had to start from scratch, but then they came back after a few weeks off and they wouldn't be fully functional until September 2002. I think the building they started out in is where they're still based, but since the fire, they've had a new front put on.
Ideal World launched in April 2000, a breath of fresh air in the world of shopping television, a channel founded on family, friendship and fun.
Hello everybody, I'm working.
2 hours of rainbow glass. It is
2 hours of rainbow glass.
What more could we want?
Can you get enough of us?
3 hours of rainbow glass.
Hello, Alan. What are you making today?
Oh, well, Chuck, I'll tell you what we're making today. We're making a brand new craft channel. And here's one I made earlier.
Due to the fantastic success of these shows, we launched a whole new channel in April 2003, Create and Craft with Ideal World, the UK's first 24-hour shopping channel dedicated to all things artistic and creative.
Ideal World and Create and Craft would continue with a few other sister channels in 2011. Those included Ideal Vitality, Jewelry Vault, and Ideal and More. The channel was sold to Village Ventures and then the Blackstone Group in 2015. Ownership changed hands again in 2018 when it was sold to Auralus. Just kind of sounds like a company that's got no mouth. Anyway, if you've got backwards memory, you might remember things that happened in the future, and that means you might remember when I spoke about BidUp.tv and Price Drop TV, because there was a section that turned out to be another Greg Scott appreciation.
My name is Tarquin Noodle Pie, and I live in a mansion in Herefordshire, a mansion called Dundropping. I don't know what the heck I'm on about. Never been the same since my car crashed.
But if you're like me and you can't see into the future, you'll just have to trust your before memories, and hopefully Bid TV is in there somewhere. Anyway, Auralus used to own Bid TV until 2013. They sold it off, and it was discovered that there were serious financial problems. But that's another episode. When they bought Ideal World, they thought they were onto a winner. Ideal World and Create and Craft was simulcast on ITV and UTV from 2019 in the old Quizmania slot at 12 midnight till 3 a.m. And then in 2021, that included STV as well, but just Ideal World. Another channel launched on Freeview called CCX TV. That was an entertainment channel, and it played what I consider stock shows that channels play when they don't have anything else. This is signalled by the show The Bold and the Beautiful, because historically it's on every channel that has struggled. Anyway, it closed when it was bought by UK TV and used for Deja Vu 1 hour time shift for the channel Dave. In January 2022, Create and Craft was sold to Hochanda, and they were a shopping network that owned a channel called The Craft Store. Hochanda is owned by Paul Wright and Val Kay. Ideal World's original founders. They would rename the craft store to Create and Craft, and it continues to broadcast to this day, unassociated with Ideal World. Ideal World, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. It got sold in February 2022 to entrepreneur Hamish Mojaria. However, according to the reports from Yahoo and the Peterborough Telegraph, that it had been run by Sports Direct when it went into administration in July 2023. The channel did a TV version of being boarded up windowed, which was a message on screen saying that it was temporarily suspended and was seeking a new owner. Hoping that maybe one of the people that watched it was probably a millionaire and loved it so much that they wanted to buy it. Oh, please buy us. If you can purchase a gold making kit, I'm sure you can purchase a channel. Anyway, so a few weeks later in August, Create and Craft made a new channel called Shop Extra, and some of the former Ideal World presenting staff had moved to it. The channel is currently available on red button services and online, as well as being on Create and Craft's channel in the evenings. The hope is to attract the audience that Ideal World had lost. When I was researching this video, I found an article from RXTV that mentioned that Ideal World was purchased by TJC, the jewellery channel. This was on the 23rd of September, and in the comments to the video I made about it, and also comments I've had in other videos, the topic about whether these channels were relevant cropped up a few times. The presenting for shopping channels and phone-in quizzes are quite similar, but the quiz channels were dead by 2010, and the concept of shopping channels such as QVC, Create and Craft, Ideal World were all designed in a world where the internet wasn't the dominating platform and it relied on live television. Some people feel like that there needs to be an overhaul of shopping channels because of the viewing habits changing. Plus, why would anybody want to buy something from the television these days? It's not actually special anymore. Where are the audience and who the heck is watching this? Well, I've done a little bit of digging, and QVC claimed to get 8.6 million viewers per month, and target audience is aged between 35 to 64 years old. Ideal World apparently has 120,000 viewers per day, but I couldn't find any demographics, but I'd imagine they were similar because it's a big age range. I would also say from watching it, that cements that, so yeah, but it was skewed a little towards more of an older audience. That makes sense because an older audience are richer than us millennials. Something like Create and Craft, this craft stuff is a hobby. So crocheting, sewing, and designing things. So you're either old and looking for a hobby, or maybe you're looking for something for the grandkids, or even you're younger and you're looking to make some money out of this stuff, like metal stamping and printing and fabrics and all that kind of stuff. They do sell through their online portal on their website, but that's a secondary thing. The main focus is on the visual side on the television. The reasons why I can see it still works is down to a few things, and that's exclusivity, because you're getting these items at a special price. You might not get them at that price later or somewhere else. You might not be able to get it on Amazon or eBay or even in the shops. Now, Create and Craft have a club that knocks off a chunk of the price. Plus, if I'm going to pay £700 for a metal twister so I can make myself a fancy gate, I'm going to trust a TV channel that I know more than what I'm going to trust eBay. I'd probably get it like £300 cheaper on the telly than what I would on the internet. I also get the feeling that much of the people teleshopping will be a legacy audience, people who have kind of done it for years and years, probably since the 1990s, and don't really have Amazon or TikTok or YouTube on their radar. Many of the presenters and the people doing the demos look like they're well into the target audience demographic. That does mean they can connect well with their audience, but it also means that that's probably how old the audience are. I think one main thing as well why Create and Craft works like it does, after watching quite a fair bit of it trying to research this video, is actually that it shows you how to do it and how to use the things, and I think that is something that you don't get on something like eBay or Amazon. You might find that information out on YouTube or something like that, but actually, again, like I said, some of these people, they don't have YouTube on their radar. So there's a couple of ways that this kind of shopping could be enhanced. For instance, Etsy. There's a lot of people on Etsy that sell their own stuff, and something like that for a shopping channel would be amazing. Not every seller is able to mass produce, which actually is a positive because that means that the item that they're buying is more valuable. Plus as well, you've got influencers and YouTubers that are really popular at the moment, and maybe you could bring a younger audience to television, as well as I've said in previous videos, making television an event. Hello, Future Johnny here, and yes, the channel did return on Friday the 29th of September. Because of some channel faffing reasons on Ideal World's side, they took over the TJC Beauty channel. An interesting thing I noticed in a video uploaded by Blue Frog, Ideal World in Peterborough, say that this channel is closing and thanks for watching. The BBC interviewed somebody from TJC, and when they were asked about Peterborough, they kind of fobbed them off a little bit. So my guess is that, at least for now, it won't be in Peterborough. Music channels in 2003 on Sky's platform were doing pretty well. I mean, it's a cheap way to produce television because all you do is play back-to-back music that you didn't have to produce yourself in anyway. Sometimes it will have a presenter, or even sometimes the odd programme about music. Sky had a strong history with music, as much of Sky Channel's early shows were Pat Sharp, Gary Davis and Tony Blackburn, with the latest hottest music videos on Sky Tracks. But all of that finished by the end of the 80s, and Sky hadn't done anything worthy since. They decided to launch their own music channels in 2003, but it was a rather popular genre. There were a few camps in the music channels section. You had Camp 1, Viacom, and Viacom owned MTV networks, which also included VH1, MTV, MTV Hits, MTV Base, MTV2, and MTV Dance. Camp 2 was EMAP, and they owned Q, Smash Hits, Kerrang, and The Box. Camp 3 was the Chart Show channels, and they had Chart Show TV, The Vault, and B4.
It's a hit!
So Sky wanted to get in on the action, launching 3 new music channels in March 2003. The Amp was indie or alternative music, playing artists like Oasis, Badly Drawn Boy, Thrills, Pigeon Detectives, that sort of thing. The idea of the channel was to go directly against Q and MTV2. Scuzz was all about rock, metal and punk music. The channel helped artists break through to the mainstream, such as Enter Shikari, You Me at 6, Bullet for My Valentine, and introduced the UK to All Time Low and Paramore. Scuzz was a direct competitor to Kerrang, also playing rock music. Flaunt started out as a pop and dance music channel, and it was in direct competition with MTV Dance and sort of Smash Hits and The Box. It got relaunched a few times since its launch. The first relaunch happened just a year and a half in, and that had some new logos, and then in 2006 as a gay-orientated network. In September 2004, Sky sold the Amp, Scuzz and Flaunt to Chart Show TV, and they joined their network of existing stations, and this happened due to poor viewing figures. The first to go was the Amp, and that was in March 2006. It was replaced by Bliss, which played pop music from the 70s, 80s and 90s. Chart Show TV would rename itself as CSC Media, and the next to go was Flaunt. After a number of relaunches, the brand had gotten diluted, and in 2010 it closed, being replaced by CSC's Dance Nation. In 2015, CSC was sold to Sony, and this included their channels such as Pop, Pop Girl, Tiny Pop, Kicks, Bliss, Flavour, Trace Hits, True Crime, True Entertainment and True Movies. But again, that's another video. Scuzz was the sole survivor, and it went on to gaining a cult following similar to Kerrang, especially with emos since its launch until its close in 2018. I can't see a reason why it closed other than Sony's reorganisation at the time, but closures like this usually means that it's poor viewing figures. Right, that's it for today. More coming again very soon. If you like the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks very much to our team members, Sam Radmore and Joseph Adams. The executive producer is Computer Tom. I've been Johnny Robinson, and I'll still be Johnny Robinson after this video is finished. Thank you, bye.